He said, how do you balance being a father and a coach to your son during this time? Because the two are very different, you know, being a father and then being a coach. So how do you separate those two? And then further question is during this time as well, where it's been a difficult moment.
I think this is actually quite easy for me. I think I've established that in order for Reese to get to where he needs to get to, I need to make sure I make time to push him as well, you see. So a lot of the times I prioritize that. So if I put some of my clients in my diary, even the job that I do is quite intense, I make sure I have Reese schedule in my diary. So this is nothing new. It's not just because of coronavirus. I've been training with Reese from the age of 3 years old.
Yeah.
Every Sunday, you know, we'll miss the odd Sunday here and there, but it's something we've always done. But it's not just the football side of it. I wanted is at a position where fitness is part of his lifestyle, which is great. And I think for me personally, that's job well done. So if he now wants to take it to another level, that's down to him. And I don't want to put too much pressure on him, because I know how that affected me, where I had so much people, you know, so many people telling me, Rich, you're going to make it, you're going to do this. That in itself, not having as much support as Reese has, it can only go one way or the other. So, and I think for me, it didn't work out well. Whereas I want to make sure he's protected, but at the same time, show him that it's not just about football. Me and Reese will tell you, we don't just play football. We play tennis. We play golf. We do quite a lot of. We play squash. Do you remember? So well, there you go. So we do loads of different sports, but I just want to make sure he can then choose whatever he wants to do. As a sport-specific performance coach, so I also worked at Islington Tennis Centre, where you get a lot of the kids, you know, parents bring their kids there, and people say sports and tennis is very expensive. But I had the opportunity to be able to work there, so I have connections. So me and Reese could just go there, pick a court. And I understand we are fortunate enough to have those facilities, but is the willingness for me to want to do that for my son? Some parents would want to, you know, just buy their kids something and say, yeah, this is enough. I bought him this, I bought him that. Your presence is more important than anything, even if you're not training them. But the fact of the matter is, you're there week in, week out. It makes a massive difference. You know, when we had Kieran Richards, Rio Ferdinand used to come and watch Anton every weekend.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
great motivation right there.
It's great motivation. So for me to see that, it's just like being only me, myself, Akala, we hardly ever had anyone, you know, supporting us on the sideline. But I was able to see that and what it does to the player, the confidence that it brings. It's just on another level. So I want Reese to experience that. This is something that I didn't have, but I'm giving him that, but without applying too much pressure. I want him to be his own person. I want him to, you know, look up to Ronaldo, but you can also just be Reese and be yourself. But it's nice to learn from players like him. But yeah, so during this lockdown, it was nothing different, but I just added more, you know, I just went, because I had more time, which means that I just topped it up a bit more. So we start training a little bit more than what I would have liked to. You see, so when we've taken it outside, we've got to Queen Elizabeth Park. We'll do loads of different drills. We'll test this. I'll do drills where we work on his touch, we work on his speed. So, and I can see he's improving. Reese has been able to beat me in a race for the first time.
Yeah, we saw that video.
No, but that's very real. And I've been testing him for a very long time. And I was very shocked. That's just due to the work that he's been doing himself during the lockdown. And
how gassed were you?
So he set him.
He was so gassed.
No, but
Richard was crying.
I had to do it twice because I thought, nah, this is not right. Reese actually beat me. Now I expected him to get there by the time he turns 18, because I'm still, trust me, I might be 36, but I'm one of the fastest 36-year-old you will ever meet. And I'm being deadly serious. And I'm not saying that. My partner just said they call him Sonic. That's a bit too extra. No, I can't call myself. No, I am fast. The fact of the matter is, he's been able to beat me, and quite with I think it was a big margin. And I was like, wow. And we're not done yet. We're still going. And I'm just wanting to know that don't worry about football too much to contra. We're just going to build you up to be a machine. And then after, and enjoy it along the way. And then we'll start talking about looking at where you can go from here.
Yeah, sure.
That's it.
Yeah. So you mentioned before, like playing different sports and everything. Talk about the importance of Reese is a football player. That's a sport. He knows it. But talk about the importance a little bit of playing different sports, because this is something that we talk about a lot. And,
yes,
you know, it personally, like, it really shouldn't be to the age of 14, I would say, about where you should.
One of the things I think I need to is very important for me to mention is how good he has been in terms of staying away from social media, and which I think is very important. And it's
get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, social media is very, very, very distractive. If you have a goal in mind and you're trying to get to that goal, having social media it's going to take longer for you to get there.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that real quick?
Social media is very, very distractive. If you have major goals, you're not gonna get there quick enough if you continue to worry about, oh, let me check my Snapchat, my messages, all of that. Because sometimes you go on it, you plan to be on it for just 5 minutes, but you can get lost in it and you stay on it for 4 hours. And one of the things that myself and everyone else around Reese, we're trying to encourage him not to. And you can clearly see, you know, Reese doesn't really use social media much. You can see his Instagram, he just reopened it because of lockdown.
Yeah,
you know. But,
I was just about to sign my contract. I just signed my contract at West Ham, and I played my last game for the West Ham at Beckton. So they said you're going to move up now to the one in Basildon. So then I played my last game, and then I broke it again in school. This time being had to have surgery, and it was just like, what do I do now? Like I was proper down in hospital overnight, and I was just thinking, like, is that going to be it? Even coming back to that, I was even worse than I was before, because I was thinking, how am I going to get back into 50-50s? Even small things like, I would like, someone would dribble to me, I'll just take it. I'm not.
So how'd you get back? How'd you push through that? Like,
and it's not a thing where you can just get through it overnight. It's going to take a long time, and it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time talking to Reese about that. I wanted him to be conscious of that. You know, yes, you broke your leg, but this happens to a lot of athletes. It's part of the game. Okay, so just use that as something to motivate you to know that at least you've gone through this experience, and let this carry you forward, because you know what it feels like to break a leg. And now I want you to just be even more stronger. This is one of the reasons why I'm trying to make sure his fitness level is at its highest level has ever been, purely because I know if you're a lot fitter, it's very, very, very difficult for you to get injured. Because, like, for example, yes, because we're working on his core conditioning is very important, and making sure his stamina is on point. Because when you're like where he's at the moment is like I said to him,
you want to work hard, you want to do all of this, but what is it that makes you hungry? What is that hunger?
I think there's that when aspiring to become an athlete or whatever you want to be, I usually tend to look for one specific sports person and try be like them. For example, Ronaldo, like I was saying, I idolize him. I watch like all analysis videos, and I just try to be like him. And I just like where he is now, I want to be there as well. So it's just, I think you just have to, and you also have to have self-motivation as well, because you can't just get to places without just sleeping around and just being a tomorrow person. You need to get everything done today.
Exactly. So even though you have natural talent, you can't just rely on that talent, you know?
Yeah.
And so you've looked at Ronaldo as your role model and seen the extra things, the extra lengths that he goes to with his training, his diet, you know, everything that goes into it. Because it's not just, you know, going as simple as going to practice, going to training and then doing your 2 hours of training. It's everything that you see, everything that you don't see, isn't it? And so that's what you've been doing to put in the extra work, right? To get to where you're at right now.
Like those little things that you said. He's doing the clap push-ups. He's getting there early. He's staying there late. It's not easy, but it's something that, you know, you're young and that you've learned early, and that's just going to make you, you know, stand out as a youth athlete who has those goals to play professionally and make it far. So that's really nice to hear.
Question I have is for you, Reese, is what difference has training with your dad, because obviously your dad is a fitness professional, an ex-pro, so what difference do you think that has made in terms of your training and your ability to play at the level you're playing at compared to some of your friends who, you know, they're serious about it, but they might not be as serious as you in terms of the extra work?
I think with the support of my dad and family, I just want to make them proud, and it's all about with especially my dad being a coach as well. It just makes me want to do that a little bit more, and because he puts in a lot of work as well as my family members around me. I just want to show that all their work has come into plan, and they've raised me to do have the motivation to do all this stuff. Beginning of lockdown, it was very I was very complacent, just not doing nothing, sleeping around. Our parents basically told me that if you want to become a footballer, you need to be getting up early, you need to be having a run. You don't want to just be letting this coronavirus be an excuse to stay at home and not do anything. You need to still work for it. So that just made me wake up and think, oh, I need to be doing that extra more. So when we do get back, I'm the one.
But this is what I say. Accountability is very important. Someone to just hold you accountable to what you need to do. It goes a long way, and I would definitely encourage that.
We've got a question from Kwame_just. So this is a question for you, Reese. What sacrifices did you have to make to get where you are right now?
Oh, that's a great question. Sacrifices like not going to parties. I don't go parties. Like even like friends saying, "I'll come out. Let's do some." Say for example, there's a motive or something like that, but I've got training or something like that. They have to make that sacrifice and you have to have the willingness to be able to say no as well. Like I've got other priorities to do. You want to be a leader. You don't want to be a sheep and following everyone and doing what other people are doing. You have your own life. You have your own inspirations and stuff that you want to do. So you should pursue that. And you have to make a lot of sacrifices to pursue, especially in sport and stuff like that.
Yeah, and at your age, it's mostly social, isn't it? It's mostly social sacrifices that you've got to make.
Yeah.
Not
being on social media is a big one as well, because like Dad said, if you can just aim to just flick through, open the app to see what's recent, and you're there scrolling for ages, and all of a sudden you've missed out on so much stuff that you could have been doing and stuff.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, it's just a dedication to the game. If you want to get to where you want to get to, then you're going to have to make those sacrifices. Otherwise, you know, everyone would be successful if you didn't have to make those sacrifices.
Have you struggled? I don't want to say struggled, but how have you learned to balance school, sports, and family, I guess?
I would say coming towards GCSE time, it was a period where I was thinking football out the window. Not necessarily out the window, but it's, say for example, football does go upside down. I need to have something to fall back onto. So it's not majority of time football, because something might happen. You might have an accident, or it just might not work out, as not everyone's going to make it. So you need to have that backup. So you need to be academic as well as physical as well. And that's what my dad always tells me. He says, you need to make sure you're reading, make sure you're getting your grades. As well as the coach, he's also, and family, everyone's also made sure that football's not the main thing in life. You have to make sure that you have other stuff to do as well.
That was your motivation to make sure that your studies was...
100%. I mean, Reese is fortunate enough because the people he's surrounded with, like, for example, my partner is an educator, so... And we
Reese, you're very lucky. Don't ever take that for granted.
She's all about your books. Like football sometimes is not really... You're not going to get that conversation from her to do with football. It's almost like Reese's horizon's been open in that way. So even when it comes to going out to do activities, so we will go to do different things that will have football will be at the back of Reese's mind. And it's just the way I want him to be, because I know I wasn't like that. I was more like everything was just football. I didn't care about anything else. And even my school looked at me as, okay, you could probably make our school have a good name. Because don't bring it up. And the thing is, I always tell my son, I always say to Reese, the time when I was playing football, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have Instagram, nothing, everything. And even the way we played, it was just instincts. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's good for me. And I talked to you about how past footballers used to be the likes of Dennis Bergkamp. I grew up watching Ian Wright. He was like my #1 footballer that I literally idolized Ian Wright.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because I think those players, for me, you don't really get those kind of players in today's world.
Yeah, he's a special talent, yeah.
Well, there you go. And then obviously, Reese, I talk about the past, we talk about the future, and he's, you know, Reese, you could talk to them about who's your favorite player now.
Oh, I'll say Ronaldo. Ronaldo, yeah. Because his work ethic, everything he does a lot more than other players do. Like, for example, coming early to training, staying there even later than the usual team do. There's even a video clip of the whole team doing push-ups, and he's the only one doing a push-up with a clap. So he just pushes that extra little bit further because he wants to be on that.
So what are your overall goals with football? Like, how far do you want to go? Where do you want to make it to?
I want to try and make it as far as possible. Hopefully further than my dad. Do better than me.
Hey, that's what all parents wish.
Do you know what? I love hearing that. Do you know why? Because they say your kids are supposed to do better than you anyway.
Yeah.
And I think me growing up, I think my dad only came to watch me once. It was a game we played against Chelsea. I remember that to this day. I'm 36 years old, but I remember that my dad only turned up once to watch me play.
Yeah.
And most dads today, they'll be proud to keep going every week in, week out to go and see their kids. Do you see what I mean? So the fact that I remember that, it just shows the effect it had on me playing.
Definitely.
And when we were playing back then, the overwhelming majority of the players I was playing with, their parents was there every week. They were there. You see, and all the kids that the parents were never there, we never really made it.
Yeah.
But most of the time, we were even better than some of the players that the parents were there. But because you imagine the effect it has on the manager. The manager would see the mum and dad always here, but we can't keep him on the bench. We have to at least give him 20 minutes or a little bit of a runner. You see, whereas we had to make sure that we were always better than everyone because we don't have anyone on the sideline to cheer us on.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas, and I understood.
No excuse. The manager
exactly.
No excuse.
There you go. So I understood that, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna change things around. You know, do a bit better than what my dad did for me. Yeah. And equally, I'm doing this better than Reese. Reese hopefully will do better for his son in the future when he has kids, and that's how it is. So him saying he wants to do further than me is just music to my ears.
For sure. It means you're setting that good example.
There you go.
Yeah. So what motivates you, Reese? Like, you're training with your dad. He's a great example, and you have him to look up to. But what personally motivates you, especially during this time of 3 months? What has kept you going with your training?
I would say family's kept me motivated a lot, and just being hungry. And it's like, when I want something, I'll do everything I can and utilize all the tools around me to get to where I want to get to.
So you've got a supportive family, which definitely helps.
Yeah.
So any youth athlete that has a supportive family around them, pushing them to try and beat their friends and that kind of thing. So you're probably doing that naturally. You're probably that guy that's already saying, like, bro, let's go. Like, come on, you need to do this and that. Come and train with me. But yeah, what would you say to them if they're going through that kind of thing?
I would say, or what I usually do sometimes is, you need to just like think to yourself, just think, how much do you want this? What do you want to? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Do you want to be playing in front of thousands of people, have everyone screaming your name, like living your best life, or do you want to just be that person which I shoulda, woulda, coulda, I regret this, maybe I should have done a bit. You don't want to regret. You want to thank yourself for all the hard work that you put in previously. So it's just a thing where you want to just think, where do I want to be? What do I want to do in my life? And I need to get the stuff done that needs to be done for me to be able to get there, because nothing's just going to be handed to you. You have to 100%. You have to make sure it's given to you.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to make sure that you have that motivation, even though if you haven't got the support system around you, you just have to get that inner. You have to just get it done, just to try.
You gotta have even more self-motivation,
Yeah.
haven't you? Yeah.
So two things, just to reiterate. I think what you said was really nice about 10 years. Do you want to be playing in front of 1,000 people? Yes. Okay, great. It's going to come down to the choices you make, right?
Yeah.
So from now, are you making the choice to hang around with the wrong crowd, or are you making the choice to be closer to playing in front of thousands of people? So it's always just like make that